Biafra, superstars, media.
My people, my fellow BIAFRAN, how are you doing today? I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending from where you listen to the sound of my voice. When Oyendu told us they were coming, we assumed he was telling lies. But today, the then President Goodluck Jonathan of Nigeria, he has come out to expose the caliphate, the Fulani cabals, and the then President of USA, Barack Obama. Today, I want the new President of America, Donald J. Trump, to please lend me his ears. He needs to hear what the Democratic government of America was doing in Nigeria. Their interference. What you see Nigeria going through today, the Islamization process, it started by the man called Barack Obama. It had the blessings of Barack Obama. A man that when he came to power, we called him Barack Obioma. The Biafrans thought he was somebody we can rely on as a friend. So we changed his name from Obama to Obioma. Barack Obioma, it means a man with a good heart. We never knew his intention was to Islamize Nigeria and hand Nigeria to the caliphate. Today, I want you to hear the first-hand account of the one they call Goodluck Jonathan, a Christian politician with a unique name, Goodluck Jonathan. I want you to hear the ordeal of what happened to him. This was the advent of Boko Haram and kidnapping of the terrorists, of children, women, girls in Nigeria, the advent. Listen to his account, and afterwards I believe you will understand what is happening in Nigeria. The Islamization is real. Hence, we are calling on America. We are calling on Trump, the President of America, Donald J. Trump. Hurry to the aids of the Christians still in Nigeria. Hurry to the aids of the Biafrans, as 99.9% of the Biafrans are Christians. Hurry to our aid. The time has come. We are on Trump's time. This next 4 years is very, very important. Hurry to our aid. Listen to this audio, then I'll come back. Listen.
The level of interference by the Obama's government was very overwhelming. It's not as if I couldn't have won the election even with that. But if, by my own thinking, and also the way some other people look at it, they go outside the normal diplomatic relationship, then it should be mentioned. Sending that person to Nigeria at the eve of election, after Obama even issued a statement directing Nigerians to vote for the next chapter, that tells you something. And we should not sweep these things under the carpet. If a foreign country, whether African country or even America or any other country, interferes with our own elections, we should mention it.
Listen.
Immediately the Chibok issue came up. We expect Nigerians to be concerned. How do we get these girls out? Within a couple of days, we saw people going to the US with Bring Back Our Girls placards. How? Why? And of course, the Mrs. Obama received one of those placards. I cannot take responsibility for the abduction. I don't control Boko Haram. They are criminals. But as a president, of course, you know, it's not the president that go to the fields.
Listen.
You have security and intelligence officers that do the work. Let me admit that, yes, maybe they do their best, but their best was not good enough for us to recover the girls. That does not mean that I'm trying to remove myself from any blame. Yes, I may not be blamed for the action, but I could be blamed that my security and intelligence system were not strong enough to be able to rescue the girls.
They were not strong.
The level of
They were not strong enough. His security architecture was not strong enough to be able to rescue the girls, the Chibok girls. That was the advent of Boko Haram presence, activities in that so-called Nigeria when it came to kidnapping. To him, he was blaming himself, blaming his security architecture, but unknown to him. Once the system is decayed, when the system is compromised, no amount of security architecture in this world will turn things around. To the then president, Goodluck Jonathan, I want you to know that Saudi Arabia were part of it. America, then the president, Obama was part of it. Even though Trump tried to expose him right from day one, from the beginning, Trump tried to expose the real identity, the hidden identity of Barack Obama. He was part of it. And ever since, the Christians in Nigeria have seen no peace. Because those terrorists, they came and all they did was capture the girls, the Christian girls. That's what they have their lust for. Christian girls, not even women. Christian girls. Teenage girls. Let that take into your mind. At this point, I would like to break this video down so that the whole world will understand what Goodluck Jonathan was talking about. How his government was compromised by the presidency of Barack Obama, an Islamist that supported the jihad, that supported the Islamization of Nigeria. Today, the Christians are dying in their thousands every day, and the people of Biafra, who are largely Christians, are saying enough is enough. It is time to break up Nigeria and go our separate ways, which we did on the 29th of November, 2024. At this point, I indulge you all to please lend me your ears as I break down this video. Listen.
The level of interference by the Obama's government was very overwhelming. It's not as if I couldn't have won the election even with that. But if by my own thinking and also the way some other people look at it, they go outside the normal diplomatic relationship, then it should be mentioned.
What you are seeing here is John Kerry, the then Secretary of State or the Foreign Affairs Secretary for America. What he did on the eve of the election of 2014, I believe, / 2015, was to come into Nigeria to meet with the one they call Buhari, a man who was the head, the figurehead of Boko Haram in Nigeria, a man who was their spokesperson, a man who was their champion in Nigeria. John Kerry met with him in the eve of the election, beyond the protocol of the presidency of that so-called Nigeria. America was responsible. They had a deal. They had an agreement which was carried out to the T. Let's continue.
Sending that person to Nigeria at the eve of election, after Obama even issued a statement directing Nigerians to vote for the next chapter.
Barack Obama issued a statement interfering with Nigerians and being biased, telling Nigerians to vote for an Islamic sympathizer. He told Nigerians to vote for Buhari, a man who we have known now to be a terrorist sympathizer, a man who was one of those that brought in Boko Haram, ISIS, ISWAP into Nigeria and a man who spearheaded killings in the land of Biafra. A man who said, if he loses the election, there will be spilling of blood all across the land of Nigeria. It will be littered on the streets like monkey bloods. Monkeys, chimpanzees, and baboons. The blood will be spilled on the ground. This was the statement of a man, Barack Obama, the president, the then president of America, was supporting. He supported a terrorist, an Islamic jihadist. This was the advent of the killing of the Christians in Nigeria. Hence, one of the key reasons we, the Biafrans, we are living. Fellow Biafrans, people all across the world, this was the beginning of the problem. The origin of the problem. As you see going on now in Nigeria, where everyone is compromised. The military is compromised. The government parastatals, they are compromised. The rulers of Nigeria are compromised. And the who is who in Nigeria are all compromised. For the first time, we now have what they call a Muslim ticket. Nigeria believing to be a so-called secular state. But today, the president is Muslim and the vice president is a hardcore jihadist Muslim. One of the founders of Boko Haram in Nigeria. But what you are seeing here was the advent, the beginning of it. The hands of Obama was all over it as we speak. Let's continue.
That tells you something. And we should not sweep these things under the carpet. If a foreign country or an African country...
And listen, pay attention.
Sending that person to Nigeria at the eve of election, after Obama even issued a statement directing Nigerians to vote for the next chapter. That tells you something. And we should not sweep these things under the carpet. If a foreign country, or an African country, or even America or any other country interferes with our own elections, we should mention it.
Now listen to what he said about the kidnap of the Chibok girls.
Immediately the Chibok issue came up, we expect Nigerians to be concerned. How do we get these girls out? Within a couple of days, we saw people going to the US with Bring Back Our Girls placards. How? Why? And of course, the Mrs. Obama received one of those placards.
We all see the infamous placard by Mrs. Obama holding it with an empathetic face, pretending to be showing concern for the children of Biafra and Nigeria that were kidnapped by the terrorist. She held the placard that says, "Bring back our girls." But guess what? I've got news for you. Ever since then, over 1 million people have been killed, kidnapped by terrorists. And guess what? Nothing has been done by the Islamic government. Nobody has gone to America to cry apart from the Christians. The government of today don't even make a statement when people are kidnapped or killed. But when a Christian president was there in the name of Goodluck Jonathan, all the Islamists that came with Boko Haram, they ran to America and they met the wife of Obama. And she came with this nonsense, pretending to be showing support and solidarity for the kidnapped victims. Till this day, all the women or all the girls have been raped by the terrorists. They've got children, and on average, they have an average of 4 children as we speak. All the girls that were kidnapped back then. The Islamic jihadists, they said they have made them their wives. They refuse to return them back. The government that ran to America with the Bring Back Our Girls slogan, they are now in power. And they did nothing about it. They didn't even revisit the kidnap of the Chibok girls. They felt good about it. As a reward, they allowed the terrorists to have them as their wives. And in most cases, when any of the girl runs back home, she comes back with the terrorist, who is now the husband and the father to her kids. And guess what? The Nigerian Islamic country and government will accommodate the girls and their terrorist husband. They give them a house, a home to stay with the children, and the girl that was kidnapped and the terrorist husband will abode in that house. This has been the story of the Chibok girls that were kidnapped. It tells you that the kidnap was planned. It was premeditated. It is a classic example of giving a dog a bad name just to hang it. They used that to tarnish the reputation of President Goodluck Jonathan. Because right now, all the terrorists are being rewarded with homes. They've been embedded into the Nigerian military, the police, customs, navy, and all military parastatals. This is what is happening in Nigeria. They call them their freedom fighters. They call them their champions. They call the terrorists their champions. What they did in America was never to go out there to speak for the release of the girls. What they did was political. It was political. Let's continue.
I cannot take responsibility for the abduction. I don't control Boko Haram. They are criminals. But as a president, of course, you know, it's not the president that go to the field. You have security and intelligence officers that do the work. Let me admit that, yes, maybe they do their best, but their best was not good enough.
Their best was not good enough because billions were invested in their military gadgets for them to buy their military hardwares. But guess what? Those military men, they shared it because their intention was not to nip the insecurity at the bud. Their intention was not to go after the terrorists. It was the political calculations. It got to a stage where even this president had to go all the way to South Africa to sort out mercenaries to do the job of the Nigerian military. And guess what? When the mercenaries were doing the killing, the same Nigerian military were colluding with the bandits, with the terrorists, and telling them their escape routes, telling them the location of all the military men that were hired, the mercenaries. It was a strange one, seeing the Nigerian military and terrorists working hand in hand, collaborating in the war front. This happened in Nigeria, where the military of Nigeria were working with the terrorists. Case in point, in the case of Lakurawa, the new terrorists in Nigeria, when the military saw them, they said they thought they were friendly, they were nice. They were very, very friendly with them. They went to make prayers together, their Juma every Friday. They ate with them. They were friendly. Nigerian military calling terrorists friends, being friendly. A terrorist being friendly. This is the language of the Nigerian military parastatals. And today, those so-called terrorists, they are the ones coming into the hinterlands of Nigeria to kill the Christians, take over their lands and their resource. Hence, the Biafrans are saying enough is enough, and we will declare our freedom. Fellow Biafrans and the whole world, this is a story. The origin, the beginning of the problem in that zoo called Nigeria. So when Trump called Nigeria a shithole country, now you understand why. Now you get it. But also, I've got a message for the president, the then president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan. It's going to be a very harsh one. even though I respect him. But let's continue.
For us to recover the gas. That does not mean that I'm trying to remove myself from any blame. Yes, I may not be blamed for the action, but I could be blamed that my security and intelligence system are not strong enough to be able to rescue the gas. The level of interference.
We also blame you, Mr. Goodluck Jonathan, for not calling up the stakeholders, we the Biafrans, the Yorubas, Middle Belters, the Hausas in the North, what they call the Wazobia. We blame you for not calling that meeting of the stakeholders and let us know what is happening. Because you have the security details, the intels, that terrorists were coming to take over your government and take over Nigeria, in the process, Islamizing Nigeria. You had that details, that information. Instead, what you did was to speak to your wife. You told your wife the intel and she came live on TV crying, wailing that there is God. There is God, that there is God up in heaven watching the enemies. She was crying on TV. What you should have done was to gather all the stakeholders. Let us know what is happening, because you are the chief security officer. Let us know what is happening to you and your government and allow us to decide either to remain in Nigeria as one or go our separate ways. So that's where I blamed you. When you know your government has been compromised, it means the country has been compromised. That was a big mistake on your part. Because of your inactions, today, millions of Christians have been killed, kidnapped, lives lost, resources stolen from that land called Biafra, and all across Nigeria. So I put that blame on your desk. You had that window, that perfect opportunity to let the people know, let Nnamdi Kanu know what was going on, but instead, you were a bit selfish. You kept it to yourself and you told your wife about it. And she came on TV crying, there is God though, there is God though, there is God though, there is God though. You made a woman to carry the weight that men, real men, should have carried up. So I put that blame on you, even though I respect you as a man. But you had that window of opportunity to let us know what was happening. By now, this bloodshed could have been done once and for all, and would have had a legitimate reason for going to war. But today, as we speak, Nigeria has been Islamized. As we speak, we now have a Muslim presidency, where the president is Muslim and the vice president is Muslim. Today, all across Nigeria, there is Boko Haram, ISIS, ISWAP, the Fulani killer headsmen allowed to roam around Nigeria with AK-47. Men they claim were herding their cows, but they have the license to have an AK-47 gun. Something that even citizens of that zoo called Nigeria don't even have access to. It beats my imagination. Today, Nigeria is in the process of being Islamized. Today, in the Yoruba land, there is Sharia law all across the whole state, all across the whole region, all across Yoruba land. There are Sharia laws and Sharia courts. Today, even in Biafra land, we now have imams who are Muslims. People are being killed to take over the land of Biafra. So I put that blame on your desk because you had the opportunity to turn things around, but you refused. To the whole world, this is a story. This is what is happening in Nigeria. Above all, I say, Britain, you are responsible. I put the blame on Britain because deep inside, you know we are not one people. When you came to Africa, you saw 3 different nations, 3 different warring nations that never got along. All they did was trade across the whole borders. but they never got along. They were warring nations, not tribes. They were warring nations. They were independent, but Britain came. You were looking at the skin tone. You assume that every black person is the same. Because of that, you made Nigeria. You created Nigeria, and you made us one. And ever since then, my people have been perished. They are being killed. We have been hated, subjugated. In that thing you call Nigeria, Niger area, nigger area, the area of the niggers, the area of the, that when you get to the area, you see black men who are strong enough to walk in the field. Go across the river Niger, the men you see in that area will be good slaves. Those were the words of Britain. And for those of you that don't know your history, those of you that don't know your history, you assume that Britain only came to colonize you. That's why you love the name called Nigeria. You never knew there was slavery before colonization. Today, I will show you a picture, a little snippet of a video to see what your forefathers went through during slavery. What they went through in the hands of Britain, America, and some European countries. Let us sink into your mind. And perhaps afterwards, you would deem it fit. You would deem it fit to change that stupid name called Nigeria. The name given to you by your slave masters. You are so proud to bear the name, the brand given to you by your slave masters. What a shame. You guys, you disgust me. Because you are not one. There is no unity. That is why you choose to remain with a name given to you by your slave masters and your colonizers. Watch this and I'll come back. I rest my case.
That was just on.
Bro, why so heavy? Look at my hand. Trying to hold this up, bro. 18 hours every day.
Everything fighting. Return. There's a light chain. Light chain is used for children or babies. If they have to put this iron brand into fire, when it's very hot, the kids are leaked.
The lube?
Yeah. So while they fix this, I use a small padlock to hook it up for them not to be able to eat while working in sugarcane plantation or to communicate whenever they are working.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Lugard, Bloomington, Lord Lugard, and it's Wild Flora Show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation. Ever since annihilation, nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hand, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hand, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.